going to talk about it. It's going to be great. Fansubbing's so cool, and everybody loves it, right? Right. Okay, so I've been an anime fan since about 2005. So I wasn't around back in the old days when people were watching those VHS fansubs, but I love talking about it, so it's okay. Alright, cool. So I have a strong interest in fansubbing, and not only fansubbing, but does fansubbing have a future? Do you think it has a future? Do I think it has a future? We're going to find out today, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the past, we're talking about the present, and we're talking about the possible future of fansubbing. So, let's talk about back in the old days, when it was the 80s and the 90s, and fansubs and VHS tapes, because that's what the old days were about. So fansubbing, since its inception, has been to spread anime to people who would not normally be able to watch anime. It was one of the first ways to see anime uncut, and it was also a great opportunity for people to learn more about anime. Fansubbers worked with the ethic that releasing shows, of releasing shows that were not already available in their uncut format in the United States, and were committed to stopping their work once a show was licensed. People who worked with fansubs often gained the skills to go into professional video editing, which is similar to what people who made fansubs, or they made AMVs with VHS tapes. So that was really hard. It was a really hard thing to do, make AMVs with those VHS tapes. So, fansubbing started in the 1980s with the beginning of VHS players. Does anybody still have a VHS player? Yeah, VHS players are cool. So, you need one of those. Yeah, they're so awesome. So, and not only that, but home computers. People were finally starting to get computers in their houses. But the problem is that it was so hard to make those things. You needed at least 2 VCRs, and those things back then were like $500 each. So it was really expensive. And you also needed either a Commodore Amiga, which is like a super old computer. Not now, like now it's old, but back then it was not old. It was cool. It was a cutting edge computer. And you also needed a subtitling program. Now, today, subtitling programs are really easy to get. And you could make subtitles with Windows Movie Maker. But back then, there are only 2 programs available for people to use. JacoSub, which was a fansubbing program made by Orlando Anime Club, or Substation Alpha, which was a professional subtitling program, and you had to either know people in Florida, or you had to know somebody who was in the subtitling industry and steal a copy of that program to make fansubs. So, and you also, most important part, you needed a raw copy of that fansub. And the only ways to get that were these Laserdisc things. They're basically record-sized DVDs, and they're basically giving you DVD quality film back in the day of VHS tapes, which is amazing. It looked really good. It was really great. Or you had to have a VHS tape, and they were not as good. And half the time you're getting VHS tapes of stuff that was taped off TV in Japan. So you had to get Laserdisc, fly it all the way to North America, and then you had to copy all of that stuff from your VHS or your Laserdisc onto your computer. And once you copied that, the picture quality and the audio quality got degraded a little bit, and then you had to translate all the stuff, which is something that hasn't changed. You still need to translate it. But at the same time, once you started putting subtitles on the video, that degraded the quality just a little bit more. And then after that, you have to take all that stuff you've done on the computer and put it on a VHS tape. And that degraded the quality a little bit more. But that VHS tape would be your master. That would be your first, that would be your master. And then basically you'd start copying stuff onto tapes with that master tape. But the problem was, let's say this is my master tape, and this is my first copy, my first generation copy. Each generation, like if I make a copy from my first generation and make another copy, this is my second generation, my third generation, my fourth generation, the quality is going to get shitty. Each generation you get, the quality is going to go down so horribly. So I want to show you a fansub, and I want you to tell me how pretty you think it is.
I have worse copy of Fansubbing.
Can anybody see Goku's eyebrows very well?
Yes.
That's better than sixth generation. Happy cassette transfer in SP.
Oh.
I guess the video gallery in that way was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I run my tape 10 generation in LP. Rough.
Wow.
That's horrible.
So, now, has anybody downloaded Fansubs recently? Anybody have? Has anybody seen it? Can you compare that to like the Fansub you just downloaded? Is the quality similar? No. No.
But if you take some Funimation rip when it's 360p, that's not that good either. But it's if you take a 1080 480.
Yeah, exactly. There's no comparison. That looks far inferior to the 1080p stuff you can get today. Let's see where I am here. And not only that, but people who were translating anime back then, people like Jonathan Clements, he was a fansubber, and he started his career
I
as
just
a
don't wanna
fansubber,
forget
and
it.
then he moved to the professional realm, and he did some of the first professional translations of anime like Soul Beyonda, and without people like him, we wouldn't have the same professional subtitling industry that we have today. So
you go for RDB.
Sorry?
So you go for RDB for many years?
No, he worked with a British company.
Okay.
Jonathan Clements is a British guy, and he started making fansubs, and then he switched to the professional realm. So, I just described to you how difficult it is to make a fansub.